Back in 2015, the federal government gave the city of Sarasota 24 high-tech police body cameras worth $36,000. And now, 4 years later, those cameras are still in boxes, and the chief now says they're too old to use. So with other cities moving ahead now with body cameras, what happened in Sarasota? Here's our special investigation. They arrived from Washington with great excitement. A Department of Justice grant gave Sarasota police 24 new body cameras, an opportunity to sort out disagreements and accusations with the press of a playback button. But within a month, the program hit a speed bump when local Sunshine Law advocate Michael Barfield demanded access to view the first 84 hours of recorded video.
Would you have watched 84 hours?
Oh, yeah.
With the prospect of redacting hours of video to protect privacy, city commissioners tapped the brakes in the program, suggesting they'd wait now for clear direction from the state.
As soon as it gets signed into law by the governor, we will implement our body cameras.
But now, as other departments nationwide and statewide use body cameras, including Tampa to the north and Northport to the south, Sarasota remains in a holding pattern since 2015. Why does Northport seem to feel it's okay to use body cameras, while in Sarasota, you're still trying to figure out some issues?
I can't answer for what Northport did.
Sarasota Police Chief Bernadette DePino was, and insists she still is, a big advocate of body cameras, but she says issues have cropped up, from issues of money to issues of privacy. And now, so much time has passed, those free cameras are now obsolete or outdated. In light of the external circumstances you've listed, is it safe to say that you have cooled a little bit on body cameras?
I have not.
What do you say to taxpayers who are frustrated by that windfall, that federal grant you received that wound up going to waste?
Well, I can understand why they would be upset and frustrated about it. We went into this with the intent on actually implementing the body cameras, and unfortunately, things beyond my control got in the way.
Beyond her control. So we went to DePino's boss, Sarasota City Manager Tom Barwin, to get his take on the 4-year-plus delay.
Well, I'm philosophical about that.
Barwin says, make no mistake, that brief test program 4 years ago wound up raising some legal issues that could have saved the city countless dollars in lawsuits.
And there were a lot of lessons learned. Some of those lessons could have had, some pretty significant impacts to the taxpayers in terms of liability if we did something wrong.
And the chief agrees. So you're saying it wasn't a total waste because lessons were learned?
I think that's an appropriate thing to say.
So in the past few months, city commissioners have set aside $250,000 for the body camera program, even though they're still researching the issue. The vice mayor still has some questions.
In general, the concept I'm in support of, but there are a lot of details that need to be worked out.
One detail is the money. The city admits it would cost $1 million to start the program and then several $100,000 a year to keep it going. Even the chief admits, if she had to choose,
I'd rather have 10 additional police officers than body cameras. I wish there was a way to have both.
Despite that, DePino says she's still optimistic about body cameras in Sarasota. It just won't be these old cameras. If you were a betting person, do you think cameras will come to Sarasota?
I do.
Two performers from right here in Sarasota attempt to break a world record and walk a wire 25 stories above Times Square. We have so much to tell you about this next hour. We have live reports from New York, along with exclusive video and interviews with Nik and Wallenda about this death-defying stunt. But our first stop, New York City, where the excitement and anticipation is building. ABC 7's Ray Collins is right in the middle of the crowd, waiting for Nik and Liana to take the wire. Ray?
Well, they say the neon lights are bright on Broadway, and once the sun goes down here, the lights will be bright for one Nik Wallenda and his sister Liana, who will be crossing above me about 25 stories up. Crossing Times Square is something that Nik's been thinking about since he first saw the city skyline as a kid, performing in the Meadowlands with his family. I recently had a chance to go out to his estate in eastern Sarasota County and talk more about a day in the life of Nik Wallenda. When you arrive at Nik Wallenda's sprawling 15-acre property, there's something going on at every turn. His sister's son playing by the driveway, a colleague working in the garage, and inside the house, there's Nik, being a husband and father. And at every turn inside the house, there's something that lets you know the head of the household comes from a circus background. From the centerpiece in the dining room to the wall hangings.
This is your decor inside, all circus
It
related.
is. So my mom's father came over to the United States to perform his bareback riding act on The Greatest Show on Earth.
To his office that leaves no doubt you're with Nik Wallenda.
Here's my Sarasota picture that I love.
Oh yes. What do you recall about that day?
I always say that when I choose a walk, I try to think about the postcard that it's gonna, and that to me is a postcard. This was 2 pages in Sports Illustrated at the centerfold.
Look at that, a little speck in a red shirt.
Yep. And then same with this one in a blue shirt. That was 2 pages in Sports Illustrated as well.
Chicago.
And then Chicago, which I love this photo too. It just shows the magnitude.
How long have you lived here?
I've lived here since 2000 and what? About 5 years, 4 years. Yeah.
So you were looking for a place, obviously had a lot of land and enough room for a wire.
Yeah, enough room for a long wire. That's 750 feet long.
Also in the backyard, we could see Nick's sister Liana in the distance resting between practice walks on the wire.
How would you describe your relationship with your sister?
Special, definitely. You know, we grew up traveling together, and when we got in trouble and sent to our room, it was the back of an RV. And we were, you know, we literally were in the back of an Airstream 11 months out of the year touring for most of our childhood.
And that wasn't Nick's last time living on wheels. He raised a family on the road.
We lived in an RV till I was 26. We had 3 kids, so it was tough. And I talk about it a lot in my book, how my marriage almost ended because of that.
Is this what you always envisioned in the back of your mind, living in a giant spread in eastern Sarasota County? Be honest.
You know, I don't know. I always believed that I would be successful in anything that I did. I just knew that. I just didn't realize that it would be in this business, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to go to med school and become a doctor. But I pinch myself. I never imagined I would be this blessed to still live where I love to live here in Sarasota, but also, to have the privacy that I do. And basically, I have everything that I want.
Nik admits it hasn't all been easy as he's gotten more famous over the past few years. He admits there has been some family and some friends that have distanced themselves from him. Some jealousy has crept up. We'll talk more about that next half hour live here in Times Square. For now, I'm Ray Collins. Back to you on the Suncoast. All right, time now to honor a local teacher who always goes the extra mile. Today we'll meet a local band instructor who is clearly striking the right chord with students and colleagues. Mr. J.R. Boatwright is our ABC7 Gettle Automotive Chalkboard champ for April in Manatee County.
1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3.
Strike up the band. It's time to surprise J.R. Boatwright. He's a Lakeland native who's taught music for 12 years, the past 6 in Bradenton, right now at Johnson Wakeland School.
He pushed us to be our best.
Sam Martin is now a high school junior at Braden River, but he hasn't forgotten Mr. Boatwright, or has his mother, who nominated him for this month's honor.
Mr. Boatwright gave Sam music, of course. That was a great gift. But Mr. Boatwright also showed Sam what a gentleman looks like, what a hard worker looks like.
And Mr. Boatwright's principal says all the hard work is paying off.
Went over to Southeast High School for a performance, straight superiors. It's the 10th year in a row he's received that. So he's a very special guy.
But some say it takes students a little longer sometimes to realize how special a guy he is.
At the beginning of the year, he's tough, he's that mean teacher, and then they learn to love him and realize how great he honestly is. He's awesome.
Okay, ready? I'm ready. All right, here we go.
Now it's time to meet this awesome guy and present him with a check for $500 for all the good work he does. This is the fun part. Watch.
All right, let's see what we do. Line 2, 1 and
Excuse
2.
me, sir. Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I'm Ray Collins from ABC7. This is Jack from Gettle Automotive.
Hey.
We've got a surprise for you today.
Oh.
You are our chalkboard champion for April in Manatee County.
What?
Congratulations. He clearly makes it a priority to teach his students about being the best version of themselves. How does that sound to you? It's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm speechless, man. He definitely instilled, treat others how you want to be treated. And just all around was a super duper great guy.
So what's his motivation? Much more than just creating good musicians.
If they can do it for me, they can do it in every class and in life. Whatever they're striving for, they can do it. They can do it.
Seems you enjoy teaching.
I do. I love my job.
He loves his job, and those around him love him.
We are here to honor and reward and be grateful for what's going on in the classroom, and you couldn't have picked a better person to give that honor and reward to.
Congratulations to J.R. Boatwright, our ABC7 Gettle Automotive Chalkboard Champion for April in Manatee County. Terrific guy, a great teacher as well. Nice to meet you, Mr. Boatwright.